What if everything you've been told about fitness as a woman is a lie? What if cardio isn't the answer? And what if eating less isn't the solution? What if the reason you feel weak, tired, and frustrated with your body has nothing to do with your willpower and everything to do with the fact that you've been following advice designed to keep you small? Today's guest is going to shatter everything you think about getting strong. We're talking about why muscle matters more than the number on the scale, why Satan has twisted God's design for our bodies, and why building physical strength is actually an act of stewardship, not vanity. If you're tired of feeling weak, this conversation will change everything for you. Today, I am joined by my dear friend and strength coach, Kaylee Bennett. Kaylee has spent over 20 years helping women cut through the noise and finally understand what actually works. And fair warning, she's going to call out some lies that you might not want to hear. But if you're ready to stop shrinking and start building the strength God designed for you, this is the conversation you need. And for anyone who wants to learn more about Kaylee, all of her info is in our show notes. I do highly recommend that you follow her on Instagram because she's really fun, and 100% get on her email list because she's sharing so much wisdom there. All right, my friends, let's dive in. Welcome to Strength for Generations, the go-to podcast for Christian families who want to build strength, restore energy, and deepen connection with God at the center. I'm Krista Baker, Christian health coach, wife, mom, and co-founder of Baker Family Fitness. I'm here to help you honor God with your health and bring peace back to the process, to simplify what it means to build strength in your body, renew your mind, and care for your spirit, all without losing precious time with your family. So grab your coffee and your ribeye, and let's do this His way. Okay, my friends, today's guest is Kaylee Bennett. Kaylee has spent over 20 years in the fitness industry helping women cut through the noise and the confusion and finally understand what works. And honestly, this conversation is needed because so many women are exhausted. They've tried all the diets, they've done all the cardio, they've been spending their years trying to shrink themselves. They don't feel strong and they don't feel confident. And Kaylee's message is different. She's the one that brings light to this conversation. She teaches women how to build strength in a sustainable way, not by obsessing, not by living in the gym, but by training with purpose and building habits that actually last. Today, we're going to talk about why muscle matters so much for long-term health, why strength training is often the missing piece for women, how diet culture has kept so many women stuck, and how building physical strength changes the way women feel, how they lead, how they parent, and show up in their lives. So, what I really love about what we're going to talk about is she does connect this back to stewardship. Taking care of your body is not vanity. It's about being equipped to serve your family well. Kaylee, I'm so excited to have this conversation with you. It is long overdue. And also, sidebar, this is my girl. This is my strength coach, and this is my best friend. And we are going to have tunnels in heaven one day that only us have access to. So welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no one else is allowed.
No,
just our tunnels.
We've already talked about it.
Start by a tunnel from Calgary to Ontario.
Yes, let's do it.
That would be helpful.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to get started by asking you a question I like to ask everyone in the beginning of an interview. So if you could sit down and have coffee with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Oh my goodness, that's a hard question.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be like totally cliche and say Jesus. Just because, since I started watching The Chosen and they did such a good job of like showing him as a human, I'm like, that's really cool to meet this person and to spend time with him. And then I was like, oh, wait, I do get to actually spend time with this person. So it's like this weird thing, but I feel like he'd like coffee as much as me. And I feel like he'd have some funny things to say.
Yeah. And maybe.
So that's like, I can't think of anyone else that would be like more pivotal.
I know.
Than that, as cliches.
I know. Well, I feel you, girl. It's a tough one. That's why I start there, and then it's all, we can go anywhere from here now. I love that. Yeah, we definitely, and we do have access to him all the time right now, which is beautiful. Okay, let's get into it. I'd love to, why don't you just tell everyone a little story about what really brought you into this work? Give us a little background of what it's been like in the industry for you.
Wow. Well, I started in the industry in 2006, so I would have been 21. So 20 years
You just
ago.
dated
Crazy.
yourself.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine being in my 40s. I think it's the best decade ever. Um, but I do think that it started way before that if I actually like peel back my life and figure out what kind of happened. And I really remember the first time I ever really started caring about how I looked. Um, was when I was like 12. And I think most girls do kind of when they start puberty and things are awkward. And I remember doing swimming and dance. Those were my two big things. And both those things require you wearing like next to no clothes or like really tight clothes. And I remember that shift to suddenly being like, I am very uncomfortable wearing these. I don't like that I don't look as good as the other girls in the class. I don't like that I'm in the back of the pictures. I don't like that I can't jump as high or look as good dancing. And so I quit. Like, I was just like, I'm not doing either of these things anymore. And then I started playing violin, which is like, you don't need to do anything other than play violin to do that, right? Uh, but I remember that. And I remember at that time, my mom was on Weight Watchers, and she was on Weight Watchers my whole life because you get a lifetime membership when you lose the weight once, but you never keep it off. So you get a lifetime membership. And I remember being curious about that uh, at that moment. So it was kind of, and I think most women and girls, that's the solution. The immediate solution is I'm unhappy with my body. How do I eat less? How do I start running? How do I start doing cardio? Like, and that's kind of where it comes. I think only recently has building muscle and doing strength training even been a part of the forefront conversation when women are trying to change their body. And it's still something that we have to combat. You still see the Pilates and the cardio and the skinny talk and all that stuff online. It's still pushed towards women that we should be smaller and we should look a certain way. And this is the weight on the scale that you should be, and you should be ashamed of those things. But I think that really started back when I was 12 and kind of shaped how I felt about myself and what I chose to do with my life, like leading all the way into university. And when I started university, I was actually in psychology. That's why I started, and I wanted to help people. I wanted to be a psychologist, and I did a year of that and really realized that like I would be very miserable listening to people's problems in a chair for the rest of my life. And at the time I was dating someone whose older
I
sister
I
was
was
in the
gonna say, so
kinesiology program.
instead of a chair, they're just sitting on a piece of equipment. I'm just
Yeah, but I don't have to sit in the
Yeah,
chair. I can
exactly.
do things. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, and I was very like interested in what she was learning, which was kind of weird for me because I've never really been interested in that. And I almost immediately decided to switch into kinesiology. So then that's what I started doing. And my whole family was like, what? Like, you hate gym class? You're taking kines? And I was like, yep, this is what I'm doing. And my grandma was like, you'll never get a job and you'll never do this. And why aren't you being a doctor? And but I just stuck with it, and I did kines and started personal training halfway through my degree. And it's been what I have done ever since. Like, I've never done anything else. I started midway through university. I graduated university. I continued with that. It's been my career since I was 21. I'm not a hobby trainer.
That's so amazing. I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah, so God clearly called you into this place. I know I actually wanted to be a psychologist, or when I was younger, I wanted to be a child psychologist. Yeah, see? And I'm like, but I just always knew I was going to help people. Like that was the one thing I was for sure that I knew about. So I love that. That's just another thing that we have in common.
Yeah. And I feel like as this has developed and as I've grown in it, I've learned that that's really what it comes down to is like helping and serving people. I really do think at the time that it started, it was put there so that I could heal myself and figure out what works for myself. I don't think I went into kines being like, I want to help people get fit. I was just interested in learning
You needed to
about
learn.
it. Like,
You
it
need
was
it. Yeah.
very interesting to me,
Yeah.
the physiology behind exercise and the science behind that. And that part was really interesting. And I still find that so interesting that we can manipulate these random variables like what we eat and how much weight we lift in the gym and see massive changes in how our body looks and feels. And that's like very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Cool to some of us. Hopefully a lot of people listening right now. It's cool, okay? Okay, I got a question for you. So what are women being told that keeps them stuck? What do you hear?
It's constantly that we're not good enough. That's what it comes down to. Every piece of marketing, every magazine, every reel on Instagram is feeding into that lie that some way we're not good enough. Even if we are doing everything right, you're going to see something that's like, oh, well, say with being a mom, you're doing everything right and you feel great. And then you're going to see something online that's like, oh, but the mental load of motherhood. So even if we feel like we're doing everything right and we enjoy, say, being a mom and all the things that come from it, we're going to be shown something online that tells us that for some reason our motherhood load is wrong. And then so we start questioning it, right? Same thing with fitness, same thing with our bodies. Like we could be feeling really good and then we see something that's like, oh, but did you know you should be doing this? And then it makes us question whether we're doing anything right. And I think that the marketing industry specifically around fitness and nutrition has capitalized on how women feel to the point that they are a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? And they just keep pushing the same lies and the same trends over and over and over again. And you can see it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Everything you see is going to be like, they're making me feel like crap about myself. They're leveraging the fact that my baseline is to question my worth, to have some degree of neuroticism, because that's just a female trait, to be like, I'm a little bit more prone to like wondering if I'm worth it and needing some validation. And the marketing industries realized that and capitalized on it. So if you see, like, you're going to see it. You're going to start seeing things and be like, oh, okay, they're just trying to make me feel bad about myself. What if I feel really good about myself? How would I view this message?
I love that.
Because
That's really powerful. It's so good.
If you see a man, think of a man, he wants to get in shape. Okay. He's like, oh, I got a little bit of weight to lose. I want to feel a little bit better about my body. Like what's the marketing to men, right? Like go to the gym, lift some weights, right? What's the marketing to women? Go do Pilates? Like what, why is there a difference?
Yeah.
Like if we're telling a man that in order to be like the healthiest, strongest, leanest, best version of himself, he needs to like eat well and lift weights and do that. And we're telling a woman that she needs to like
do
cut
cardio,
carbs and balance her hormones and start doing Pilates
and cardio.
Yeah. So
I know. I've talked about it a couple times here too, is women were marketed. Well, the reason why they started marketing women to go to the gym and how they got them to come was, first of all, they're like, well, 50% of the population, like let's say there's, 50 men, male and women, we have men coming. But we're missing this demographic. There's another 50% of people out there that we would like them to come to the gym too. How can we get them to come here? So they made pink and purple dumbbells and built cardio rooms and built group X classes to get women to come in. And that's how they would, and then that's what we've been told for so long that we have to do. And I love how you talk about like just fitting into this small box. I've always felt like I just needed to be smaller. Like I just have to fit into this little box because whatever, maybe someone told me.
Don't be loud. Don't have an opinion.
Yeah.
Don't take up space. Don't weigh more than 120 pounds.
Yeah.
Don't lift weights or you'll get bulky.
Oh, yeah.
Like who's telling that to men?
Nobody. Yeah.
But that's because most men's baseline isn't to question their self-worth. Like that's not an innate baseline. And so I think the number one problem we need to fix for women is really believing that we have value and worth first. And then we can start seeing where the lies are coming from and then start formulating a response and a program and a plan that the underlying part of that is I'm invaluable as my baseline. This is just a way for me to like move the needle and become the best version of myself. So it's never a part of like, oh, there's something wrong with me, so I should fix it.
Right.
It's like, there's everything right with me and I'm just going to get better. Because the amount of women I talk to that come to me and there's significant hesitance now to say that they want to lose weight, because for some reason that's now become taboo to like want to change your body. It's like, oh, but I do love myself, but I do maybe kind of want to lose weight. It's like, you can say you want to lose weight.
Yeah, it's just part of the goal.
There is a healthy way to look and a
exactly.
healthy way to be and a healthy, like, that doesn't mean you hate yourself.
Yeah. Well, I think
Right?
sometimes they're afraid to say that too because they've tried other things, so they don't believe it's possible.
Oh, 100%.
You know?
And that's just that more of falling for what we're told to believe.
Yeah.
Right? You can try this. It will never work because you're never worth it. So you're going to keep trying and keep trying to find that thing that like finally makes you feel like it's working and you're worth it. But what if you just believed you were worth it and then did a thing? Because then that thing would work.
Amen to that, sister. Okay, so why don't you tell us, why is building muscle so important then? Why does it even matter?
Well, I mean, you did a good podcast on that when it came to like falls and osteoporosis and all those things. Like the degree that impacts women is substantially more than that impacts men. So from a baseline, women have less muscle mass than men, just like as a baseline, right? So, and we like, it sounds horrible to say, but we are like the weaker sex of the species. It's just like physically, I would say, not mentally. Mentally, we're probably stronger. But physically speaking, we have less muscle mass as a baseline. And because of our hormones and our cycles and the fact that the majority of women do go through pregnancy and postpartum, like the demand of our body and our tissues on our, let's say like just calcium reserves is significant, right? So a man will never grow a baby and deplete everything in their body for 9 months growing it and 2 years nursing it, and then have to rebuild that all up post baby, right? So we're kind of like in that phase, not to mention puberty. As soon as estrogen kind of comes into place, our growth plates are fused and then we actually stop like building the like bones the same way. Whereas a man will grow up until he's about 25, constantly like building muscle, impacting his bone density. So like women, I mean, we could say that we got the short end of the stick, but we're just different, right? So that means that more so it's imperative that we do the things we need to do to build muscle, because muscle is that like stabilizing force that allows our bones to remain strong and allows us to remain strong and youthful and vibrant and capable, not to mention the fact it like even going beyond, it improves insulin resistance and the way our body metabolizes things, our energy levels, how we sleep, everything. Like you can't name a body function that can't be improved by more and stronger muscle mass. But the problem is the way women are marketed to build muscle is different than the way men are marketed to build muscle, but the physiology is the same. How a man's muscle builds is the exact same as how a women's muscle builds. We don't need to change our training to accommodate that.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I love that. Lift heavy weights. Well, we'll get into that in a minute. But I do like that you said, because I guess I was going to ask, like, what do you see women start to do? Like, what's the difference you see in women once they start training properly?
Oh, I think the biggest first change is more mental than anything. And I say that's to a lot of my women because most women come into my program and they just like want results, right? Because they've tried so hard and they've never seen results and they want results. And like my big thing with most of them is to be like, we're going to get results, but the first part of this is like going to be mental. Like we have to change how you think about this and how you view things and how you show up for yourself, because most women kind of like don't like that physical discomfort, like kind of pull back before they actually get their body to the place where it needs to create change. Like we need to get to the point of discomfort and then overcome it for our body to actually change. Our body's really good at staying the same. It likes to stay the same. So if nothing's uncomfortable, it's just going to stay exactly where it is. So we have to build mental resiliency to even do the things. So, but strength training in and of itself builds that mental resiliency, and that's supported by research. Like putting your body under that type of stress and showing up and forcing yourself to do hard things and then proving to yourself that you can do hard things actually improves resiliency to just overcome stress in general in your life. So first thing we see is like generally an increase in strength right off the bat. Like most women are stronger than they think they are without even building muscle mass up front. It takes a long time to build muscle, but we can build strength first for sure. So we build up that confidence by being like, hey, you know, you can actually lift those 20 pounds. Like you don't need to grab fives. And guess what? It's supposed to feel hard. Like it's supposed to feel hard. It shouldn't feel easy
I was
when
just
you're
thinking
lifting
about the
weights.
woman.
Like,
Remember when we were at the gym together when I came to your gym? And one of your clients, you like just went over and you put these plates on her, and she was like, I would never have done that on my own. It's the
but
best.
she did it.
And then she did it. And she was like, I can't believe I just did that. And it was 3 times the amount of weight that she would have chosen for herself.
Yeah. So sometimes you just need that like
Yeah.
little push, but it's like you're always stronger than you think you are. And then as soon as you like break through that barrier, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm way more capable than I even knew I was. Like, what does that do for your self-confidence? What does that do for your worth? Just be like, I've been told for so long that I'm not capable of this because I'm a woman. What?
Yeah.
Right? As
So
soon
good.
as we get that first breakthrough, then like real magic happens. And then we do start building muscle and building strength and feeling more confident and showing up and being like, I actually like this. I can show up to the gym and not have to like leave everything on the floor in a pool of sweat. I can literally just show up and like do my best to lift as well as I can.
Mm.
And that's a good workout.
Yeah. So good. Okay. So then why don't you walk us through what it actually takes to build muscle? And I know that's a very loaded question, but we talk about mechanical tension. We talk about sets and reps and rest and that kind of stuff. I think we should spend some time really talking about that right now so people can understand why those 2-pound dumbbells aren't doing anything for them anymore. And this is not just for women. This is for men. This is just how to build muscle, and it applies to
Absolutely.
everyone.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then women, doesn't matter your chromosomes. You're going to like your muscles still work with sarcomeres and muscle fibers and they contract the same way with the same type of ions. Like everything's the same. And every person's different too, like from how like their muscle looks and attaches. So we don't need to even distinguish between sexes at this point
Mhm.
because it's going to be the same. And I really think there is a lot of information out there about building muscle. There's like the old school methodology where it's like, oh, if I'm training strength, I'm doing under 5 reps. If I'm training hypertrophy, I'm doing 6 to 12. If I'm training endurance, I'm doing this. So we have that realm of thought. We have the other realm of thought where we need to create like micro tears in our muscle in order to start building muscle. So like if you're not sore, you're not building muscle. And really what's been coming out now as we get more research and more people actually involved in this is that most of those things are just extra noise when the main driver of building muscle, the main driver of stimulus to build muscle comes from mechanical tension. So it honestly like doesn't matter your reps or sets or weight choice at that point. What matters is are you eliciting mechanical tension in the muscle? And so here's the distinguishing factor. Mechanical damage is a way to grow muscle. That's where you tear down muscle fibers and create like, you know, a lot of that pain so that muscles build up and get a little bit bigger looking. And that makes muscle look bigger, but it doesn't increase like the force production capability of the muscle. So I had a weightlifting coach that called it like, what did he call it? Like puffy muscle. Because it's just like, it looks good, but it doesn't do much, right? Um, so you want muscle mass, but you want muscle that's strong and can generate force because that's what is going to impact like bone, joint, tendon health, right? It's not just having muscle that looks big. It's having muscle that actually functions well in what muscle is supposed to do. And muscle is supposed to generate force to move your joints. That's what it does. Okay. So the other realm of thought is the mechanical tension thought. So that's where muscle gets stronger and builds more the more tension we create through the muscle. So the muscle expands and contracts as it as we lift weights and do movement. And so I want to like not get into this in like the nitty gritties of physiology, but just the basic level of how do you know if you're training to the point where you're eliciting mechanical tension in the muscles, because it's not the same as training to failure. That gets thrown around a lot too. You don't actually need to train to failure in any significant quantity to build muscle. And like and it just can become overcomplicated. So the easiest way to do this is to watch the speed of your reps, right? And the best way to do that is to film your movements. So you can't do it by just feeling it, because we'll always feel like it's harder than it is. 100%, right? So if you film your movement and you're doing 10 reps, say, and your first rep takes you about a second to complete, and your 10th rep takes you about a second to complete, regardless of how it feels, because the 10th rep will feel harder, if there's no significant decrease in speed of contraction, you're not creating mechanical tension. So there should be an involuntary means like you're not actively slowing it down because you want your coach to think you're creating mechanical tension. There should be an involuntary slowing of contraction so that on those last 3 to 4 reps of any set, they take longer for you to complete. And we've all been there, right? You do some squats and you get to your last ones and you're like, man, it took me 3 seconds to stand up from that thing. That is mechanical tension. So if that's the main driver and we're looking for, let's create mechanical tension through our movements, let's make sure the last 3 to 4 reps of every set are actually challenging to the point that we're generating tension in the muscles through slowing down those muscle fibers, through making sure that they're working harder to elicit that same amount of force production. We can do that with any weights, with any sets, with any reps. So you can do 2 pounds. You'll just have to 50 reps, right? So do you want to do 50 reps to get that point?
Never.
Or would you rather just do 5 reps and grab a 50-pound dumbbell? And so for us coaches, that makes it a lot easier, because there's some people that do really well with 5 reps and love that. Most women don't. Most women can't push heavy enough weight within a 5 rep range to actually do anything. Our brain will shut off before we feel comfortable lifting that heavy. But some women like the 15 reps, right? So as long as we're creating mechanical tension and training close to failure, meaning with those last 3 to 4 reps are feeling challenging and slowing down, we're going to be building muscle.
It's so good. I'm just thinking about, I love the 5 rep range. I don't like the 15 rep range. I never have. I used to think I had to stay in that a long time ago. That's how you got toned. You know, that's always what women were told. And then I started lifting heavy and I was just oh, I feel more capable. And I also like how my body looks, because I think that's when I could actually get that mechanical tension. I wasn't getting it enough from the other reps because I didn't like that my heart rate got so high.
Yeah. So that's the thing you run into when you get higher than, say, 12 reps. I would say you probably don't need more than 12 reps. The only way that would happen is, say, someone's working out at home and the only dumbbells they have are limited. So they have to work with what they have. What happens when you get higher than that is then you have to start combating substrate accumulation, meaning that you are going to start generating some lactic acid ions in your muscle, and your body's going to start having a hard time removing those. So you're going to encounter that burning feeling of having too much acidic substrate in the muscles before you get to that point where mechanical tension's created. Right? So you kind of don't want to get to that point where you're it's burning, I can't do anymore. You want to get to that point where the weight's heavy enough that you're I am trying as much as I can and this is barely moving.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of what happens when you get into those higher rep ranges. So I would say 12 is probably the max, and sometimes even 8. Your big muscles, your big movements, you don't need more than 8.
Do you find that there's certain moves where you just see this muscle failure? Obviously, a deadlift, especially when you're going really heavy, you're and you can't get the weight off the ground. But do you find that there's certain exercises where you're just nope, that's not happening at all?
So I think the thing, we went through this big shift years ago where everything was functional training. And that was like really big when I started training. So it was like, don't do machines. Machines are bad. Everything needs to be like dumbbells. We need to stabilize the core. We need to do all those things. And I would say that's how I train people. I very much disagree with that. Now I do think there's value to being unstable and using stabilizer muscles and training the core, but that will not build muscle, because what happens is, instead of driving energy and output to the muscles that we're trying to work, we are taking some of that energy and driving it into the muscles that need to stabilize. So let's say, for instance, a squat, like your back squat, right? You put a bar on your back and you squat like open-ended in that position. What's going to fail first? It's not your legs. Your legs aren't going to fail first, right? If we're squatting to build muscle in our legs, we can't choose a movement where our core will fail before our legs do, right? So that's why something like a hack squat or a leg press machine, where you're fully stabilized, you can push towards failure without fear of the bar crushing you and breaking your back. And you don't need to rely on, like, of course you're going to use your core, but think about it this way. If you can only squat 100 pounds for 10 reps, you get to use your core for that, sure, right? But if you can squat 200 pounds on a hack squat for 10 reps, do you think your core's not working?
Well, it's working.
Right?
Like, it's
So, yeah. So we need to, there needs to be some exercises, yes, that incorporate stabilizers, and we work on those small muscle groups, especially when people have imbalances or injuries or things that we need to work through. But from a pure muscle building perspective, the more stable the exercise is, the better it will do at building muscle. So machines are definitely like where you live if you want to build muscle,
so
because
good.
you're fully stabilized.
I
You're
was just
fully
thinking about
supported.
like triceps, where you're just like, oh, it's like not even moving. You're like, this does not want to go anywhere. I'm just going to throw that across
Yeah.
the room.
And your isolated movements like biceps, triceps, like shoulders, like for sure do unsupported, but because nothing's going to happen. What's the worst that's going to happen if
Just
you
drop
can't
the
lift
weight.
up a dumbbell to
Yeah.
curl? You're just not going to curl the dumbbell, right? But when you're thinking like the big movements, like your legs and stuff, like you need something more supported and more stable to actually like elicit that response,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay, I
So
have a question for you then. So let's say I'm a busy parent and I don't strength train. I want to, but I'm really busy and I don't want to be overwhelmed. Where do I start?
you would start at 2 days a week, 3 big movements. That's it. So, and you don't need to do more than 2 to 3 sets of those big movements within like that mechanical tension phase. But if you pick 2 days a week and do 3 movements, that's an hour in your week to get those done. And if you've never strength trained before, or you've taken a long time off, like you will move the needle on that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
But
you can really see it like right off in the hop.
yeah, it doesn't need to be huge. And like, once you start doing that, you're going to want to do it more. And I mean, I understand the busy parent thing. Like, I run a business. I have 2 kids. Like, I have 2 dogs.
They're crazy, by the
I
way.
get it. Yes. But it's just an excuse. In all honesty, it's just an excuse, because at some point in time, your kids aren't going to need you as much. And what are you going to do? Just have done 10 years of not looking after yourself and being a shell of a human being and being weak and not muscular? Like, what?
It's
What's
common.
the alternative to not do, what's the alternative to just like become more unhealthy and become weaker?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, yeah, I know. I start my clients off with like 15-minute workouts daily.
Mhm.
And so that equals 90 minutes over the week. And what it does is it gets them like, because it's like, I can just do this. I can find 15 minutes. So when they get there, but most of the time they actually find a little more. So like, oh, I also rolled out while I was there. And then I did this, and then I walked on the treadmill for an extra 10 minutes. So I'm like, oh, now we're just adding a little bit of more movement into your body and stuff too. So I love that, because people don't realize that they're trying to go back to the gym days where they had to be at the gym for an hour, hour and a half every day. Well, like, we don't have that time. So, and I do get it. We are all busy, but we make time for what's important. And if it's important for you to get healthy and feel strong and know that you're capable, then this just gets put on your schedule like everything else in your life, right?
Yeah.
I want to
Building
talk to you
muscle needs to be the most important thing you do for your health.
100%.
For fixing your eating, before walking more, before like you need to build muscle. Every year after 30, we are losing muscle. Right? And what's your stat? 70%? Like something like
It was
70%?
70% of women
Yeah.
that will
Like,
fall and break. And then I made the connection between like the things that we put inside are pulling minerals out. And then on top
mhm.
of it, we don't have anything to protect it too, right?
Yeah.
So
Like you need to build muscle. It needs to be your number one health goal. Like without argument, if you have 30 minutes, it's not running.
yes,
It's not stretching. It's not yoga. It's like, I need to build muscle. It's going to fix your insulin. It's going to fix your energy. It's going to fix how you sleep. It's going to fix how your body feels. It's going to fix how stiff you are. And then guess what? If you have enough muscle, you can run and not like completely destroy your knees.
100%. I love that.
But you need to build muscle. It needs to be number one. And however that works, whether that's 15 minutes a day, whether that's 2 times a week for 30 minutes, like I do 4 workouts a week for an hour. That's it. And I'm a coach. Like, and I get insane results doing that because I've focused on what I need to do within those workouts.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. So for those that don't know this, like Kaylee and I worked together. We coached coaches together for a while through an organization. And that's how we met. God knew that we needed each other. God was like, here is your gift. And we're like, this is why we're here. I mean, we were there because we actually really enjoyed doing what we did. But then when we realized like God put us together for this main purpose and that we're going to be together forever in eternity, that it just like everything just became very, very beautiful. So I do have a question for you because we've talked about our faith a lot in this industry, in our businesses and how to do that. And I know for me, God was like, you are running a Christian business. And that's what he told me. And I know that you've been bringing your faith into your coaching and into even, I remember making that change with your social media and stuff. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah. So I think a big difference between our businesses is like you categorize yourself as a Christian coach and that's who you really speak to. And I really felt called to incorporate my faith and be open about that, but be in the world, not of the world. So I wanted to be able to impact people outside of just my church and my faith to show them like what it means to actually be a Christian, because I think there's a lot of not very good Christians out there informing a lot of people. So I started just speaking more openly about it on my socials with my clients, not being afraid of that. And I mean, when it first started, it was really scary because it's like, oh, well, what if that makes like clients like not come? And then God was just very clear with me that's like, well, then those aren't the clients for you. What if it makes more clients come? Is kind of, but what if it works? Instead of saying, what if it doesn't work? What if it works?
Right. Like the language that you talked to us about in the beginning is what if I start speaking? I have chills down my legs right now. Praise God. Sorry. Had to tell you that.
Yeah. So I just like, and I have such a great community of clients. They're like, I would say less than half of them are faith professed Christians like me, but the amount of them that come to me and are very grateful for who I am and how I exhibit my faith and how they feel like loved and supported and not called out and not judged. I've had people come up and say that to me, and to be able to tell them that like I'm praying for them and that you have so much worth and you are like, that's game changing, that I can make, maybe I'm the person that like, I don't need to bring them all the way there, but maybe they go from like 10 steps away to 9 steps away just because like they met me, and then that opens the door for maybe someone else to come into their life. And, it hasn't ever led to me sharing the gospel with anybody, but they know where I stand.
Well, it's part of how
So,
you coach too, right? Like when you say a lot of the words that you're speaking, they're coming from that relationship with Jesus. Like, so when we say that we want to build each other up, we as Christian women say those things because that's what God did for us. Right. And then we get
yeah.
to bring that. And it's like, I know the scary feeling. I had the exact same scary feeling. We've talked about it before, where it's like, I thought people weren't going to want to work with me. I did. I had coaches not want to work with me specifically
Mhm.
because I'm Christian. And then I was like, so what? Right? Then I'm obviously not in the right spot. And, um, but and like, cause I'm just judgment and we all go through it too. And we don't want to be the ones doing it. We don't want to be the ones receiving it either. But I do love that, I noticed this like joy come over you when you felt like you could finally be you. Like you've always been
Mhm.
you, but it just was like, it just ignited something. And I'm just really proud of you for doing that and just really not having fear because we know he tells us not to, right?
Like, commands us not to.
Yes.
365
Yes.
times in the Bible,
Oh,
one for every day.
every
It's
single
like,
day.
it's not a suggestion.
Yeah.
We're actually commanded to not have fear, which I think is like a big turning point. And in all honesty, it's like, yeah, we can feel like things are hard. I read Isaiah 53 today, and it's like you reread that, and then you tell me that your life's hard when you read about what Jesus went through for us.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
It's like nothing's hard.
Mm.
And I think a big thing that I noticed too in coming into this is that, and your community here is very Christian, so I can be very open about this, is like Satan is very good at taking what God intended for good and changing it to be evil. Food, exercise, all these things. We are made in God's image. Do you not think, as children bearing the image of God, that we are supposed to have like the healthiest, strongest, most vibrant bodies that we're supposed to have? That doesn't mean it's become our idol. That doesn't mean that we're doing something wrong. That doesn't mean that we have to love ourselves no matter how we look, right? We're called to do things differently. We're called to step outside of that. Satan's turned it around and been like, oh, you're fine where you are. You can eat all the food and you can do nothing and you can sit on your couch and you're beautiful at any size. It's like, can you see the lie there? That's like God being like, oh, I love you no matter what you do. So keep doing whatever the heck you want.
Mm. That's good.
Right? Like, pull it back and be like, what is God calling me to do here? Am I supposed to be stronger? Am I supposed to be taking time for this? We're not asking you to create an idol out of going to the gym. We're asking you to glorify God in everything you do. And that includes how you steward your body. Like, is it glorifying God to sit on the couch and watch 6 shows of Netflix without moving?
Wow.
I
That's so
don't
good. I
think
feel
so.
emotional right now listening to that. Thank you for sharing that. That was good. Yeah. Like I would say we'll stop here, but I still have some other questions. So
Ask away.
sorry, guys, we're still here. Okay. I do have a question about like, do you think stronger women show up differently in how they are in their marriages, in their parenting, like their everyday life? I think about work, how they show up in all these different areas. Like when they're stronger, like what does that look like?
Oh, 100%. I think it gets kind of like convoluted when we say like women are like the weaker sex. I think that really just means like from a physical perspective. We have less muscle mass. We're less like, it's just there. Do you know what I mean? If we were going to have to fight someone in hand to hand combat, like a dude would win. Like that's how it should be. Do you know what I mean? But I do think like if you like Proverbs 31 woman, like she's not like this meek random like that doesn't do anything, right? Like we're still supposed to be strong, but we're also supposed to like recognize our place too. So we're supposed to be strong, but also soft, right? Like no one's asking you to turn into a dude because you're going to the gym. It's just asking you to come into like your feminine strength and do with your body what God created your body to do, right? It's just our environment that's changed. Like, hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, there wasn't obese people that sat on the couch and ordered food takeout. Like we were moving and we were strong and we were capable and we had to look after ourselves. So I think that all comes back to that. It's like you realize what you're capable of in the gym and you see confidence comes from like consistently challenging yourself with something that scares you and then overcoming it. So in the safest space, the gym is something that scares you and you can overcome it. There's no poor outcome to that, right? Like you're not having to go and fight a bear. You're just having to go and lift up some dumbbells, right? But it's still the fear and you're still overcoming that fear. And then every time you take that step, you build a little bit more confidence, right? that changes, like, you ever see a woman like walk around like hunched over and kind of like looking down? Like, what do you think of her? But if you just even that change in posture when you're like, oh my goodness, like I can stand up straighter. My shoulders are back. I'm walking faster. I have more like that confidence definitely translates into other areas. We have more confidence in who we are, in what we're capable of, in what our role is, whether that's in our home, in our work, with our family, right? And I think what I like to say to women is like, I can't change how confident you feel. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a life coach, but like what I want to do is use fitness and use nutrition as the vehicle that allows you to become the confident version of yourself. Because a healthy, strong person 100% is more confident than someone who's not. If you feel confident that you can, run across the street as fast as you can to rescue your kid from getting in front of a car, like, yes, you are more confident. But if you're like, I can't make it up the stairs without getting out of breath, like, are you confident to be able to do that? No.
Yeah, I know. And I'm with you on that. Even I've talked about being able to like move my own furniture and not have to wait. Like, it's not that I don't want Mike's help, but if I don't have to wait for him to get home from work, it's just done because we got lots to do up here, up in this place, right? Okay. So what's one message that you hope everyone walks away with today?
I would say like ignore everything
Not what you
that's
said.
out there. If you see anything on the internet, on TV, on social media, and you get that feeling of like, I'm doing something wrong, something's wrong with me, you need to shut that off. Because that's just marketing. The right message should empower you to do more, but it shouldn't do that in a way that diminishes who you are. And that's really what I'm trying to get across with my message is to be like, you are entirely capable in where you are right now. You have immense value. Being a child of God, whether you believe that or not, you have immense value because you're a child of God. But stop listening to anything that's making you feel different than that. And as soon as we recognize that all the marketing towards women, some towards men, but mostly towards women, is set up to make us start questioning whether we're good enough and then to spend money for one thing and then take action to try to fix that like hole in ourselves of like, I'm not worthy of this, then everything changes. Because if you go in with the baseline of like, I'm valuable and I'm worthy, then you stop doing all the random crap that doesn't work. And you start finding something that actually can be sustainable for the rest of your life. Because it's based on that foundation of like, I have inherent value and worth. What am I going to do with it?
So good. Oh my gosh, I love you so much. Okay, we're going to end here, but where can people connect with you and learn more about your work? P.S. She's working on me right now and she's amazing. Seriously. I've had a lot of coaches before and I'm like, I just feel so good working with you.
Thanks. I feel good working with you. I love working with my clients. It's like brings me so much joy to like send them. I lost my voice doing check-in videos last week. So
I know. I'm with you too. Even through
is.
really hard times, I get so much joy of like going through all of their material and just being like, because I really love having the husband and wife join. Like it just makes the family function in ways that it's just so good. And being able to do that with people is so powerful. And then you read their stuff and they're winning, even they're struggling. And you're like, I still want to hear that. Like it's so good. But yeah, okay, tell us.
And even like you said, like you bring people in and kind of like work on that baseline and fix like that deep rooted health stuff. And then what I really like to lean into is people that are already kind of there, right? Like you're already in the gym, you're already doing things, you already have done the work, but it's like, it's still not quite sticking. How do I get to the next level with this, right? But my website's a great place to start. It's kayleebennett.com. There's tons of resources there, blogs, the ability to sign up for the newsletter. I love sending out newsletters once a week. I won't spam you. And then most of everything I do is on social media. I know you're not a huge on social media. I'm on social media every day. I kind of have learned to like it because I can just be myself and create a little community. But that's at kaylee.bennett.coaching.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
I'll put all that in the show notes too, for sure, because you guys got to connect with her and her emails are really good. That's like one of the only ones I read now. So
I've had a few people tell me that, and I'm like, oh, thank
because
you.
they're fun, because they're real. Actually, like my daughter says the same. She's like, it's Kaylee Bennett. And she just like is like, did Kaylee post today? Let's see. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Well, I hammered out a reel before our thing
Okay.
today, so
Take a little look.
it'll go out soon.
All right.
Tell her to look.
Girl, thank you so much for being here. I'm so honored to just be in your presence, and thanks for sharing all your wisdom with us today.
I feel the same way about you.
Thanks for tuning in to Strength for Generations. If this podcast encouraged you, it would be a blessing if you took a quick minute to leave a 5-star review. It helps more families hear this message and find hope for their health and faith journey. It lights me up to know this podcast is helping you. And if you feel led to share this episode, text it to a friend, post it to your stories, or send it to someone on your heart. God might use it to encourage someone who really needs it today. And don't forget to eat steaks, lift weights, love Jesus, and keep doing it His way.